What's the hardest conversation you've ever had to have? My wife got pregnant when we started dating at 16. We decided to give the kid up for adoption once she had him. It was a tough decision, but we weren't ready to be parents at 16. My older sister had just gotten married and found out she had infertility. So, she proposed the idea of adopting our son. That way we could still be involved in his life and watch him grow up. My wife had him by C-section and my sister has raised him since. We agreed that none of us would tell him until we all agreed he was old enough to understand it. Sure, it was tough to watch him go through life knowing that's our kid until we finally had kids when we were ready. We're now 36 and he's getting ready to turn 20. I've got a great relationship with him as his uncle. He comes to me with problems he can't bring up with his parents, comes to our house regularly to spend time with our kids, and even said that he considers me his dad since his parents got divorced. We had a deal. If he found a car he wanted to restore, I would pay for anything he needed if he did the work. My dad did the same thing when I was a teenager and it was a great life lesson and I still have that car to this day. He normally just calls me by my name or a nickname made up by my wife, his mom, or the kids. Today, he came to the shop to do some work while I was out there working on something else. Then I hear, "Hey, can you hand me a rag?" That was when I knew this kid needed to know. I mean, he's almost a grown adult. He can handle it. I told him I needed to tell him something. So we sat down at the table and I just flat out told him, "Your auntie and I are actually your birth parents." He looked confused because his mom had said she gave birth to him so he would never think anything was up. He had lots of questions and I answered them as honestly as I could. He left after and asked his mom about it, who then called my wife to tell her that I told him everything. I knew I should start digging my own grave in the backyard when she put her phone down with no words and just stared at me. She was livid I didn't ask anyone before I told him. It was selfish, but it had to be done. I couldn't hold it in anymore.